What's going on, y'all? This is Q Ortiz, your local San Diego massage therapist, musician, and artist. And today I wanted to talk a little bit about learning languages and at least one way that I've been playing around with multiple languages, just because I think with language, I do think there should be some should, but I'll use it. Should be some intention, or maybe not. Like whatever. You just yeah, it's still intention though. If you want to have fun with it, or you specifically want it for job opportunities, or you want to move somewhere and you need to learn the language. Yeah, I think intentionality is important within. So with me, I if you saw the Spanish learning journey, then you know, okay, I've been just trying to get it, trying to learn it, just little by little, different ways. And it wasn't until I I got into this program from Mandarin Blueprint. So I started learning Mandarin, and I don't know if you saw my recent short. I basically copied an intro to their pronunciation mastery guide because I liked the intro. I just when I started learning, it was one of the videos where I heard the sound of it and I said, "Oh man, I want to learn that." And I was doing that with different shows and videos where I'll watch a video and hear them say, oh Jaga, or nega, and that's this that. Jaga is this, nega is that, or naga, or juga. So I would hear them say it, and I was trying to use Rosetta Stone too, and I was becoming familiar with, oh, okay, that's what they're saying, that's how they're saying it, and I was just connecting the different ways. But when I got into the Mandarin Blueprint, actually taking their 30-day challenge, which they posed the challenge, if you can, they said within 30 days, hold on, let me get my battery, let me charger, excuse me. I just got the low battery signal and don't want this to die on me. So once I got into the program, they said in 30 days you'll be able to read sentences without the help of pinyin, which is the romanization of Mandarin characters. That's when you see it looks like English letters to give you the pronunciation, and you see the tones. But when you look in the real world, so to speak, or you look at, say, a kung fu movie or just anything with the Mandarin, if you see subtitles, usually it's characters. So they're teaching you how to be able to read those characters, read Chinese. And with the system, because it's so comprehensive, they're able to start you from one, just getting into the characters, building visualization in order to remember the characters, remember the pronunciation, the tones. So you have it in your mind when you see the character, oh, that's yo, or wo, or ni. And that's, yeah, first step. Then you learn the words. You learn words building off of those initial characters that you learn. You combining two characters, now it's a word, right? A lot of the Mandarin is like that. So that's what makes it challenging, is because it takes a longer time to learn a word, because you just went through this process just to learn one character, but then you need to learn another character just to make that word. So now you go from learning the word, and then you learn that word in a sentence. So you're just building your comprehensible input. You start from just the prop, the component, the character, you build it, then you build the word, and then you're seeing it in a sentence. So because they have this program, they're also partnered with a flashcard application called Traverse, and I'll show you just a little example. So this is Traverse, and that's the Mandarin Blueprint logo there. So they'll start you off, I mentioned, say with a component. Let me see, component. Oh, there we go. At the top there, pick a prop for that component, right? It's just that line. It's E, which is 1. So you pick a prop for it. You make it razor blade. You make it pencil, whatever you want to do. Because then when you're visualizing it and building the character, you can go, oh, the razor blade was here in my mind. So that makes the character more easily visualizable in your mind. You're like, oh, the pencil was here. When I created the scene in my mind, the pencil was on the top, the sword was at the bottom. So then in your mind, you see the positioning, because that's important. Positioning is important with these characters. They're specific. So just to give you a sense of the flashcards, right? So flashcards, you're reviewing them. It starts off just, you have the prop, there's the English keyword, and then you just keep things moving. But in this process, I was thinking, man, like, okay, my Mandarin is improving. I'm going through this system every day. I'm doing these flashcards. I was doing so many flashcards before, like 50 flashcards, 80, 100 flashcards, 200 a day, like just going through these different flashcards, sentences, pronunciation stuff, characters, just a bunch of flashcards. And I was looking like, man, but with the Spanish, I'm working on it still. I'm doing conversation, but it's not getting that foundation that the Mandarin's getting. I didn't have that foundation. I was just kind of winging it and figuring it out. Okay, conjugations and this. So in the process, I said, okay, I got to a certain level, and I went all the way back to the beginning of the flashcards, from the beginning characters and props, and changed the majority of the keywords that were in English. I changed them all the way to Spanish. So whenever I had to look up a character, let me see, like I had it here. So this cross is shirt, and it means 10. So if you see, I have diez and dis, shirt, and then sa. So later on, yeah, I went from 1 to maybe 13 or 16 or something like that. Changed all the English into Spanish. I left some that, like, if the Mandarin words didn't translate the best in Spanish, like the Spanish might use the same word, or it just doesn't translate as well, then I kept the English just to keep safe. But if I knew the word in Spanish for the keyword, the English keyword, like I knew it strongly, then I would just delete the English. And then sometimes I would test myself. I go, oh, let me just try to change it to the Spanish, and when I see it, boom, okay, como un cisne. It was a swan. I didn't remember it. I kept seeing it, like, oh, what is that? What is that? Un cisne. Now when I see it, un cisne, oh, that's that character, and it's segundo, and chino. So second, is second in Chinese, but segundo in Espanol. So then I would just associate the Chinese to the Spanish for my learning, building from the bottom up, then going to sentences and translating all those sentences into Spanish, and then read into Spanish, just to be able to associate the words that I was already learning, those characters like shirt, but then also being exposed to other vocabulary. So whatever those sentences were bringing up in the Chinese, now I'm becoming exposed to that vocabulary in the Spanish. It'll just come up, boom, oh yeah, this. So it'll just reinforce my Spanish while I'm developing the Mandarin. And then over time, I started to incorporate those same ideas with the French and Cantonese. So with the French and Cantonese, they're more, it's just like getting the pronunciation more so. It was less about conversation, little by little building the skills, but just, okay, how can I pronounce, right? Just pronounce and then associate. So in the same process, you're just becoming exposed. A lot of what I think with language is becoming exposed to the different words, just getting hit by them multiple times until now they're more familiar. So when you see, for instance, like I use this example a lot, like 桌子 is table in Mandarin and 普通话, and la mesa obviously is, well, maybe not obviously, la mesa in Espanol is table, and le table and the French, and then I think toy in Cantonese. Toy, I'm just gonna see. So this is what I'll do. I'll do that. I'm like, oh, what is it? What is it? And then I'll look it up. See the table. Toy. 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 So then now I'm associating toy. If I forgot it like that, because the other ones are strong, then that becomes a little bit more the focus for that particular. If I got a card that said 桌子 and I read it, I said, oh, that's table, 桌子, and I know, la mesa, le table, toy. Now I know for the Cantonese, toy. So that's one way of exposing myself to the different languages, so then they're just more familiar. Then say when I'm taking more of a deep dive into the language, say listening more to the Mandarin or listening more to a French video or Spanish video or Cantonese, now there's something to hook on to a little bit, just especially with the languages that I've been practicing more. They're stronger, so I can kind of just hear a little more familiarity, like, oh, that was that. Or if I was in a conversation, say I was in a conversation with this Chinese man, and he was saying certain things, and I go, oh yeah, I know that, okay, or I don't know that, or I know everything but that. And then he had the translator too, because he didn't speak English. So that's where 他不会说英语. He didn't speak English. So when he said it to his translator, then I could also see the characters and go, oh, okay, that's what he's saying. And then I see, oh yeah, I don't know that character. What is that? Or just becoming familiar. But it's being exposed to all these different words. Just let them hit you. And then the more you're being exposed to it, that's where you can you could remember them better. And that's also where, if you look at certain, like when people say, oh yeah, like English, I mean, if you learn Spanish, then it makes French easier, or if you learn French, it makes Spanish easier. And I mentioned to a friend that it's true, at least from what I'm seeing, you could find similarities, like, oh, okay, in French, instead of saying this, you would say this. For example, por ejemplo, um, alguien is someone, alguien, and quelqu'un is someone en français, quelqu'un, and alguien en español, yo ren, yao yan, in Cantonese, yo ren in Mandarin. Let me see. Let's make sure I'm saying it correctly. Yo ren. Yao yan. So with the Cantonese, yao yan. Yao yan. And when you figure out, oh, okay, that in the context of when you would say alguien, it would be quelqu'un en français. Then that's where, oh, okay, now you can bridge those languages and get a feel for, oh, okay, this is how the sentence will be structured, or where. But it's good to learn that kind of pronunciation first. I feel like, yeah, learning pronunciation, so then when it comes time to learn the word, or just sort of start to implement it and drill it, like say you work on these sentences and you have all the sentences running through your brain, all these phrases that you created running through your brain, and then you're practicing them. Now you have better context and a better connection of how to use what you're saying. So that's what I wanted to come on here to say. I hope this was interesting, and just maybe you're inspired, or you have more of a direction with your learning. And if you're learning languages, I wouldn't even say, yeah, like, don't copy me. I'm just really digging language. Like, I've been just enjoying it and connecting with different people using different languages, even if it's one word, two words, and they'll help you. Different people will help you. There's, oh, this is like this. So even the languages outside of the ones I'm specifically focused on, people will still teach you a word or two, and then you just have it. You have that sort of connection with them. You can go up to them, tudo bem, and Portuguese, tudo bem, and just share that with them. So with I'd say with the language learning, yeah, I think the most important is that you're enjoying yourself. That's, yeah, because if it feels like overwhelming or it's just too much, it'll take the fun out. But there is the combination of the fun and the mission, like being on a mission, because there's something about not knowing what you want to express, or not being able to express what you want, that can be a motivating factor to get you to that place. You want to at least get here. Like, I was speaking with someone in the Mandarin, and I go, man, I like, but still I'm having fun, because every chance you have to work on that language and become exposed to it, even if it's familiar words, it's putting you in that world to be able to think in that language and just work it out. And even if, say, I might have said something and then I'll think like, oh, no, it's like this. Or I said something that was wrong, and then I'll look it up later and go, okay, how do I say this? Or and that's really I think that's the drive. It's that curiosity that, well, how do I say this? Right? Like, oh, if I wanted to say this, how do I say it? Now you got your brain with the question, seeking an answer. And over time, the more answers you get, now the more knowledge you have. This is how you do it. Oh, how do I say this? This is how you do it. How do I, like this. Now you just know more because you're seeking. So all that to say, you got to seek what you wish to find. And with that, I'll see you later. So if you like this video, click like. If you have any questions or any comments, drop a comment below. And if you want to continue on this journey with me, click subscribe and we can vibe. Peace out.